Hello, everybody. Just want to talk about the options for floor renovation. I don't know why, but many floor centers just throw out one quote with one price, with no options to the clients. And I've talked to few, and their reasoning behind it, they just don't want to confuse the client. I don't see what is confusing about it, because for me, it's informing the client what's available, and then you as a client can make an informed decision based on the data that you have. Sometimes it's a lot to process, but it's better than just have something and be kind of not happy with it. So every time that we prepare a quote, you know, I get the information from the client, I have a chat with him, and then I'll put a proposal for with the options to choose from. Um, so when you get a quote, you will get a quote with a link, which will have a video like this also attached. And there will be photos that you sent or we took during the quote visit, the scope of work written down, this video explaining the options, and there will be a method statement which explains every single option in here available. So let me just go through it. Okay, you will have the method statement attached, which will look something like that. In that method statement, you can find something about our guarantee, a difference between oil and lacquer finish to begin with, which I typically explain during the process. And so, okay, let's start with the selecting the finish. So you can see that you got two choices in here, Pall-X 96 and Pall-X 98. Basically, these are two options for a clear lacquer finish. And here it is what it means. We put a coat of primer, either an alcohol-based or water-based, depending on the conversation we'll have a client, the amount of work needed. And then it is covered with two coats of lacquer. Either the Pall-X 96, which is a premium domestic lacquer, or a two-component commercial grade with a hardener Pall-X 98. They come in three different sheen levels. Um, a third option that you have here, it's a raw wood effect, like a bedwood effect. So this is achieved with a white pigment. So white pigment is added to the lacquer or the primer, and then you achieve the level of whitish in whiteness of in your flow. So a little bit of a white pigment will keep the natural look of the floor, and a little bit more of that white pigment will take it to the slightly on a tone of white. So for that, we use a coat of primer that comes in pure option or a white option. The white option is really meant for pine floors or very orangey pine floors, which is going to put more white pigment, but it's not going to make it white. And then this primer is finished with two coats of Pall-X Pure. This is a product that has got white pigment built in it, and it is with a hardener, so it's a fantastic product to have. This Pall-X Pure only comes in matte option. There's no choice of sheen, and if you want to take it a step level with a whiteness, you can use an oil-based primer, which I'll talk about in a minute, with but white. So, and this is the most white you can get, a 333 white plus the Pall-X Pure. And if it doesn't get any more whiter, we just don't do any other stuff. We don't like to play with. We did that, and it doesn't really work. It looks great the next day, but it's the matter how it's going to look in a year, 2 years time, how that's going to behave. You can also have that option with oil. Um, so it's pretty much using magic oil pure, but it's not recommended in high traffic areas like a hallway, staircase, living rooms, kitchens. because the white pigment is the least durable of all pigments, and it needs to be coated, protected with something like a lacquer. Oil finish in white will be just fine in a bedroom when there's a very little traffic. And then you have an option for a Pall-X zero zero system. So this is the most eco-friendly. It's completely VOC free. We use one coat of a primer and two coats of lacquer, which is a two-component product as well. This only comes in ultra matte finish, and it's actually the most durable out of all lacquers from Pallmann. It's even more durable than Pall-X 98. But not everyone likes the ultra matte finish on the floor. And then you have an option with an oil finish, either as I said, you've got Pall-X Magic Oil or Magic Oil Pure. This is it. But we put these options there, and the difference between oil and the lacquer is the lacquer that's something that goes on top of that floor, and oil saturates the wood from within and protects it, making the wood stronger. In extras, we've got a choice for you to choose. If you want us to take the rubbish out, we're happy to do that. But we have to just pay for throwing that away. You can, and all you have, or you can also have an oil-based primer to any of those finishes. Yeah, and this system is that we use a two-component oil which goes into the wood, making the wood stronger, and then we follow with two coats of lacquer of Pall-X 96, Pall-X 98, or a Pall-X Zero. So all you have to do is just pick that one and select that one, and you've got the combination of both. And also you can have the stain option, which is another add-on. So it's basically an oil-based primer with the third component of any of the stains available from here. So you've got a palette of the colors. You just choose what you like, and that's it. Yeah, you've got the color chart in here as well. Then you've got a sanding process, but that doesn't matter. In here, we also have, that's typically for pine floor boats, filling the gaps in between the boats, either with wooden sleevers or Sikaflex or Gapmaster, anything like this. And you've got photos here attached, so you can have a better understanding. This is the Sikaflex on pine. This is the white. And that's the understanding of how the wooden sleevers work. So yeah, that's pretty much. And I believe this is giving the information to the client, and we're not sending everything to everyone. I have an initial talk with a client, and then based on this, maybe I send 3 options or something like this. Okay, I hope that explained choices a little bit better. Thank you.